Hey guys, I'm Wit.
I'm Doug.
And we are the Stream Team. This is episode... I shouldn't start that if I don't know what episode this is.
16.
16.
Yeah.
We are getting really close to our 10,000 subscriber mark.
Yes, very close. Yeah.
So in case you guys didn't know, we're going to be doing a live Q&A party.
Party mostly, yeah.
Party mostly. I have a sparkly dress. Doug got a tux.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about it today. We're going to show like highlights, your first video for YouTube.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on Monday.
The 10th.
Yes, at 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is 1900 UTC. Mm-hmm. So put that on your calendar. It's going to be a ton of fun. We want to have a huge audience. We want to make sure everybody comes. It's going to be fun. And like I say, we're going to make it interactive. And so you as viewers will be able to help participate in the party.
Let us celebrate.
So, yeah. A little trip down memory lane. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm actually going to set up a link for that. So djp.li/10,000. The number 10,000. So pretty exciting.
Kind of a big deal.
It is.
Cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I never thought I'd ever get to 10,000 subscribers doing video production related content.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Here we are.
So I also never thought I would be on camera that much either.
Me either, actually. I don't know why I'm here.
Because you're learning, right?
It's fine. I'm learning. In case anyone's wondering why I don't talk as much as on these, is because I'm not the expert.
I mean, the
Doug
whole
is.
idea behind this series is that I'm teaching Wit how to do this.
Right.
So
I'm a film person.
So
I also went to college, in case anyone's wondering about my age.
She's been done with college
a while ago.
Yeah, she's been done with college for a handful of years now.
Yeah, there's that. So today we're talking about Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Wi-Fi and internet and like some of the challenges. I mean, we kind of touched a little bit on this on some of the early videos because I mean, we're talking about streaming after all, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted to go a little bit more in depth into what it takes to get an internet connection and some of the pitfalls that you run into and whatnot. So,
yeah, Doug asked me, what would you do if you didn't have internet? And I was just like, okay, I need that's what I need to know. That's what we need to talk about because I don't know what I would do. I was like, hotspot.
Yeah. So yeah, Wit actually decided on the content for
Pray
today.
it works.
It's like what have we not talked about that you would need to know if I was going to send you out on a job? And internet access was the topic that came up. So
kind of a big deal with live stream. That's something you never have to think about in film. So like it just would never cross my mind.
Right.
To worry
but
about
it's kind
Wi-Fi.
of integral to doing internet live streaming, right? You got to have internet access.
Main thing.
So we're going to be focusing a lot of this based on the Teradek Video Go that I have here, but there's a ton of other devices out there. You know, you can get a hardware device like this, or you can use a piece of software on your computer, like OBS or Wirecast or any other number of pieces of software that do that.
But this is the one you use.
This is the one that I use. Yeah.
Is it your favorite?
It's so far, yeah. I mean, it's been this one's been ultra reliable, and I like that it has great connectivity, which we'll get into. The main reason I got this, one of the main reasons to choose something like this over a computer is that something like this knows how to handle multiple internet connections simultaneously.
Right.
So that gives you some redundancy, and it gives you the option to pool your bandwidth. So if one connection isn't fast enough, you can split it across two, which is really important if you're having to stream over cellular.
Right.
Because cellular is just all over the place, right? Now, sometimes it's great, but other times not so much. You know, and if you try and stream over a bad internet connection, you're gonna have a bad day. So, we'll take a look at the user interface on this and how we can actually set up multiple connections. I should mention though, if you're gonna be doing multiple connections, multiple internet connections, you have to have not just hardware that supports it, but the service that you're sending the video to has to support it as well. Okay. Like for example, YouTube doesn't have a way to send over multiple connections. So yeah, so you have to send somewhere else first.
Okay.
And in the case of Teradek, they have a service called ShareLink, which is what I'm going to be using here. They also have one called Core, which is more advanced, far beyond the needs of what we're doing. But we're going to be using ShareLink. So in order to be able to use multiple internet connections at the same time, you have to be going to a service that knows how to bring those together, bring all the different data streams together, and then merge it into one for it to then go out to YouTube
Right.
or Facebook or whatever.
And this is what we normally use. Right.
Yep, exactly. Whenever I'm doing anything important, I go through ShareLink.
Okay. And does this come with it?
There,
Or is it?
well, this is meant to use either.
Related?
This one can use either ShareLink or Core, either one.
Oh, okay.
But this is a subscription service. It costs some money. It's not a lot. You know, typically for a 1 hour live stream, it'll cost me about $10 to $15. So it's not too bad.
Oh, right. So it costs you money each time, not monthly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they have different plans too. I actually just bumped my plan up. I was on a plan that was $0 a month, and then you just paid for however much you used it. And then just a couple days ago, I bumped up to their $25 monthly plan, which gives a lot more data
Oh, okay.
for cheaper. And I'm doing this often enough that it makes sense for me to do that. But
Yeah.
depending on how often you're streaming and what you're doing, you know, when I'm doing a lot of the live streams just for my channel, I don't bother with ShareLink. Like
Yeah.
my internet connection here is good enough that I don't need.
We don't have any interference from
No,
other people using
no.
it or anything.
My internet connection here is gigabit upstream and downstream, so it's way faster than something like this ever needs. I never have to worry about bumping up against limitations.
Right.
So I don't use ShareLink for streams that we do here out of the trailer for my YouTube channel. But when you're in a venue,
Everywhere else, yeah.
you get your a client's paying you to make it work. You've got thousands of
Better
people
make sure it
watching.
works.
Yeah. So it's important to have a good solid connection, and one of the ways to do that is make sure you're using a device that can support multiple simultaneous connections, like Teradek. But there's a ton of them, and there's another one that a lot of people who watch this channel use. It's called LiveView. They have a device called the Solo, LiveView Solo.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
So that one's pretty popular, but there are others. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them out there. So those just happen to be the Teradek and the LiveView tend to be the most popular. But one of the surprises, before we actually get into the technical details, one of the surprises that I've run into a number of times trying to do live streaming is you show up to a venue, and they want to charge you for internet.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I was like, they charge you for internet? I didn't even know
Yeah, that's pretty common.
that was the normal
For
thing.
venues that are-
This is outrageous.
I
Charging me
demand
for
reform.
internet. You guys hired me.
So, but yeah, there are awful lot of venues that do. So, like most of the conference centers that are out there, they will charge for internet. They very often charge for electricity too.
Yeah, I was going to say, and electricity.
But even some of the smaller ones, we've got a small theater up in Ogden that I've worked in. They wanted $175 for internet for an hour. And it's like, seriously? So in that case,
1 hour.
that would have been most of our budget on that particular event, most of the leftover budget. And
Yeah.
so I just streamed cellular out of my trailer, and it worked. But
It worked.
so, but at that point, I didn't have a way to do multiple simultaneous streams. I could have done 2 cellular connections or 3 cellular connections to get enough bandwidth to have a high quality signal. But in that case, I only had the one at that time, and so yeah, the internet stream for that one was kind of mediocre.
Okay.
Which is okay because the content we were shooting wasn't that great either. But
Yeah, it matched.
it all went together. So, but yeah, it's pretty common for a lot of venues to charge for internet. So you got to budget for that. Another thing you got to watch out for is a lot of them are going to want you to use Wi-Fi instead of actually plugging into Ethernet. And I think we've kind of danced around this, but Wi-Fi is a terrible way to go.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it because it might work while you're testing, but then all of a sudden the room fills up with a bunch of people, and all their
Everyone's trying
phones
to
are
get on, yeah.
everybody, all their phones are sending out signals, and it's interfering with yours. And the chance of you having Wi-Fi work in a crowded room is very, very low. And so,
Right.
if at all possible, use an Ethernet cable.
Didn't you say you were using Wi-Fi and then as soon as people showed up, it stopped?
I've had
letting
that
you-
happen a number of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I avoid it at all possible costs.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is just it's not meant for reliability.
No.
It was designed for consumer use, for in the home primarily, and in offices where they can put base stations all over the place.
Are there times when they have Wi-Fi, private Wi-Fi exclusively for
Oh
people
yeah,
who are working events?
yeah, that's fairly common, but you still run into the same interference
It's still the
issues.
same.
Yeah, I mean, all Wi-Fi uses the same radio band, 2.4 or 5.8 gigahertz, and like every phone, whether it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, is transmitting on that same band, And so you've got all these radios. It's like everybody in the room shouting.
So it doesn't even matter if they're not on it. It's
exactly.
Still,
yeah, it's just the radio band is busy. You know, it's like shouting in a crowded room. Someone's going to have a really hard time hearing you because there's just so much going on.
Okay.
So, yeah, just
either way,
avoid Wi-Fi at all possible costs. If you do have to use Wi-Fi, you're probably in for a bad day. So, cellular, I have found actually generally be more reliable than Wi-Fi. Ironically, I mean, because cellular is usually slower. Most people don't prefer to use cellular whenever Wi-Fi is available. But when you're talking about a production environment, cellular is probably a better way to go than Wi-Fi. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So I have 3 different cellular devices. This is absolutely covered in fingerprints. This is a hotspot. This one happens to be on T-Mobile, which is my primary carrier. But it provides Wi-Fi. Not ideal, but Wi-Fi signal usually can travel this far.
Yeah, that's probably okay.
So that's usually all right. So the antennas on here offer Wi-Fi, and they communicate with that. But I also have these 2 cellular radios, and they don't look like much. But you open one of these things up, and there's actually a SIM card in there, like for like a phone.
I don't think I knew that.
So you can pop them out of your phone and pop them in here if you want to use your phone's data plan. But yeah, just pick up one of these things, pop a SIM in there, and then that can give you internet. I mean, it's a USB device.
Right.
So it's primarily designed to plug into a computer, but these devices have USB ports on the side.
And you can do 2, yeah.
Yeah, on this one you can actually do 2. So in this case, we have 4 internet connections going on this. So we've got our Ethernet, we got Wi-Fi. Well, if we turn this on anyway, then we'll have Wi-Fi, and then we have 2 cellular.
Is this what you normally would? This is what you would do?
This is what I would do if I had a really high-profile event where I can't have anything go wrong. Yeah, and you're not using any more data going this way than you would if it was just Ethernet. So it splits it up. Like, I mean, if you were sending it 5 megabits over Ethernet, and then you plug these other ones in, each one would be getting like 1.25. So the total is still 5. Okay. But you're dividing it up and sharing it. The other nice thing about this is, like, if one of these goes out, like your Wi-Fi becomes unreliable, it just uses the others.
You still have it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll still continue to function even if one of your connections goes out. So great for redundancy and backup, and so.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time.
Anytime you're getting paid, and I'm definitely moving that way more. And in the past, I didn't always do that, and I've never had any serious problems with it, with getting internet access. But at the same time, I probably should have been doing more of this in the past, just in case.
So if you didn't have access to the Ethernet, you would just do.
You can do the 2 cellular and the Wi-Fi here. Yeah. This particular device also has a way to go through your cell phone. Cell phones obviously have a hotspot feature you can use, but it can also use Bluetooth to talk to your phone as well. Oh. So lots of different. You have a lot of different ways you can talk. I think in total this has like 7 different ways to get data out to the internet if you need to. I'm not sure I've ever done an event where they need that level of redundancy. Yeah. But it's certainly a good thing to have.
Okay. So if you had no internet access and you're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, if you don't even have cellular in the middle of nowhere, you're pretty much at that point your only option is satellite. Okay. Which I've never had to do. There are people that do it. There are services out there, but it's expensive. You're talking thousands of dollars per day. Okay. In order to go satellite. So
if anyone approached me with that, I'd be like, no.
Well, we can do it, but it's going to cost you a lot of money.
So I would know the answer.
And you usually have to arrange for the satellite a long time in advance. These services tend to be pretty...
Arrange a satellite?
Yeah. They actually bring in a truck with a big antenna on it. It's not. It's not for the faint of heart. So, but it can be done. So
is that why news places have those?
News places do use satellite, but they actually use microwave more than satellite. So they actually beam their radio directly to one of their own towers instead of going, because satellite's expensive. I mean, no matter how you do it, it's expensive. But they use microwave because it's a direct signal, whereas satellite, you bounce it up to a satellite in the sky and then come back down, which has a really long delay to it. And for live news, that's not good. Yeah. But we did an event a while ago where we simulcast our stream onto the local NBC station, and they brought a microwave truck in to connect to
Okay.
us. So, yeah, so it's yet another way. But most of the time, you're going to be using internet. So a device like this is really going to be your best way to get connection, a connection out to the internet. So, yeah. So look at this. So yeah, we got 4 active connections going on there.
Oh,
So,
okay. So
yeah.
it tells you.
Yeah, and this tells you how much data is being transferred on each one. So they're all pretty equal right now, because I mean, it's just we're only sending a black signal, so there's no picture there that is having to try and encode, and it shows you the total. But yeah, so we'll go up to the cloud service. This is ShareLink, and it's showing us 3 active connections. So one of these this one doesn't actually have a SIM card in it, so it's not really active.
Oh, okay.
But the other 3 are working right now. So
Oh.
we've got our Ethernet, that's the wired, and then USB modem 2, that's over here, and then Wi-Fi, which is going through this. All of those are currently sending data up to ShareLink. Yeah, and then it's combining it, and then I can send that wherever I need to. So, and one of the nice things about using a service like this, you can send it to multiple destinations. So we could be streaming
At the same time?
At the same time. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so we could be doing Facebook and YouTube and Wowza and whatever else.
Not Instagram.
Not Instagram.
We figured that
Spoil
out.
sports. So yeah, you can do multiple at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got redundancy going in, then you've got multiple services you're streaming to at the same time. So if one just decides to act up or not work, you can redirect your viewers somewhere else. So
Does it cost more per platform too?
Yeah. So
Because that virtual event, they wanted to do Facebook, and you're like,
Right.
okay, it's going to be.
yeah, so it's going to be an extra
More.
charge. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah, because with services like this, you're paying for all the data coming in and the data going out. That's what their charges. That's what they're
okay.
charging you for. So the more places you send it to, or the higher bit rate that you use, like for example, I've set this to stream at 5 megabit. For something that I want to look better, I'm going to do 7 or 8.
Right.
But that's going to cost me more. There's more data. So
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Just got to make sure that they know that.
Yeah, always let your client know ahead of time. And another big thing I should mention is, like, you should test these things in advance. Don't show up to a venue for the first time on the day of an event
Yeah.
expecting that things are going to work. Do a little reconnaissance ahead of time, and go test it. To take the same equipment, you take your streaming device, take your cellular radios, whatever,
Yeah.
Ethernet connection, test it ahead of time. You just don't want any surprises on the day.
Yeah,
of
you
it.
can't do anything. You can't. Wait a second. Can we stop the production
Right.
for a second? We don't have a cord that we need. Like even like other stuff that I've done, like with Highlight Sports, we get everything ready, and then every day we get there 2 hours early, regardless. And a lot of
even
times,
though everything's already
even
set up,
something's
yeah.
already set up.
Yeah.
Like last time, mic wasn't working.
Yeah, always surprised.
You gotta make sure, you're ready. Even
Yeah.
even if you have 2 hours to kill, at least
Yep.
you don't have 2 hours behind. It's
Exactly.
better to do that before. So
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Have multiple connections, test ahead of time, use wires whenever you can.
Yeah, wires are
Oh,
most
I
reliable.
should also mention, if you can put something like this outside, like physically outside, that's going to be way better than trying to run it from inside. Cellular signals are much, much stronger outdoors than they are indoors.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of the reasons I keep this in my trailer. That's outside, right? So
Right.
it's like get a way better signal outdoors than you do indoors. So yeah, if you can
That makes sense, yeah.
stick this, or even in a window or something, there's somewhere where it's going to have good access to the open air. So
You're just standing outside like this
yeah, exactly.
for the signal.
And so, what are you doing? Oh, I'm streaming.
Streaming.
So I shot a funeral a few months ago inside the venue, no cellular at all. I had a device like this. I stuck it out near the front doors, and ran an Ethernet cable, or sorry, an SDI cable to my switcher, and was able to get online that way, and it worked. It's possible to stream most places. Ironically,
Right.
I have another funeral this weekend
Yeah.
to live stream as well, and it'll be the same thing. It's going to be simple. We're just going to take this, stick it on top of the camera, and that'll be it. So no switching involved on that one. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep, got it.
You're an expert.
Yes. So if I go to an event, I'll bring all this.
Yep. Yeah, it's really pretty easy. The other nice thing I should mention about this is mostly managed from their website. So if I was to go send you to an event, I can log onto the website and I can control this device remotely.
Oh yeah, didn't you do that?
I have
for
done
one
that.
event?
I have
yeah.
done that. I've done that. You wouldn't have to be an expert in this.
As I call you like that.
So all you would have to do is make sure that one of these is plugged in, and then I can get in and I can control it remotely. So
Oh,
yeah, so nice and easy.
that's
So,
nice. Yeah.
So for someone who's not familiar with the intimate workings of these things, you can still use it as long as there's somebody on the other end to take control. So
nice.
yeah. So again, we have a big party coming up.
Yeah.
In a few days. So.
10,000 subscribers. Please like, share, subscribe so we can get to that by Monday.
Yep. Wouldn't it be cool if we could do it during the stream?
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So
we're projected to hit 10,000 on that day. Bookmark djp.li/10,000. I'll do it on Stream Team too. So streamteam.link/10,000. Well, we're gonna go back before I started doing YouTube videos about video production.
It's really entertaining. If you guys if anything, just tune in for that part.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I might have some stuff too that I've never really shown. We'll see how embarrassed I want to be.
So thanks everyone for watching, and have a great day.